Lovely. Okay, and I just want you to come to start and we'll begin. So as always, just do what you can. Take those rests if you need to. But let's just set up by really working on some kind of tension release and posture around the shoulders. So feet hip distance apart, hands just softly resting down by your side, and bring your attention to your breathing. And as we breathe in, we're going to float the shoulders up towards the ears. And as we breathe out, just melt them down away and tuck them into your back pockets. Same again. So deep breath in, tension through the neck as we draw the shoulders up, and then breath out, flow that tension away. Lovely. Someone's just joined us, so let them catch up. That's okay. It's good. Keep going. Oh, hi, Ivana. We've just started, so just take your time, join in. Just nice deep breaths, shoulder shrugs, up and down. Lovely. I'll let you enjoy two more of those. Deep breath in and out. Lovely. Final one. Beautiful, and out. That's lovely. Just set yourself up in your own time, Ivana. Okay, open through the fronts of the shoulders, long collarbones, and keep that lovely long neck now that you just worked to achieve. Okay, so you're using those muscles just around the shoulder blades just to see if we can keep that nice shoulder position. And we're going to take it into a foot series. It is a little bit challenging on the balance, so you can hold on if you need to. Keep your pelvis level. We're going to float up onto tiptoes. Now we're going to stay up on the tiptoes, but bend into a little squat. So the heels are lifted, we bend into the knees. Feel those thighs. Then we push back up to stand and lower the heels back down again. Let me just turn side on for you. So raise up onto tiptoes, bend the knees, come down into squat, push back up to stand, and then the heels come down. Now your options really are how deep you take that knee bend. So it could just be a real little crease in the back of the knees, or it could be we take it right down into a deep squat with those heels lifted. Now you do bring your knees over your toes with this. So if you've got any kind of problems with your knees and you don't want to overload the front of your knees, particularly kind of anterior knee pain, kneecap pain, then don't go too deep with these, because if we are loading it up, which isn't a bad thing, it will get you stronger, but obviously we don't want to irritate those structures at the front of your knees. And I want you to take it really slow, so you'll feel the stability in your ankles being challenged, especially as you load those knees up. Good. And try and keep a focus on your knee positioning. So don't worry about coming forwards, that's normal with this one, but try not to let the knees collapse into one another. If anything, push them ever so slightly apart as you come down. So we're working the outer side of the hip as well. We've got 3 more. There we go. And then we're going to add the arms. Super simple arms. Set the shoulders, float up, hands in front of the shoulders. Hold that position as you come down into your squat. Push back up and then lower the hands back down again. Same again. So hands come up with the heels. Heels stay lifted, so do the hands, but we bend the knees. Push back up to stand and lower down. Good. Keep it going. Hopefully you're starting to feel the effects on that, on your thighs, a little bit on your calves as well as we work into those heel lifts, but keep them slow. Breathe out as you come down. 3 more. Watch that shoulder position, keep those necks nice and long. 2 more. Heart rate building, even though we're not moving quickly, but we're strengthening everything up. And we're going to hold this next one. So shallow or deep, heels are lifted. Now, even though the arms are in front, try not to round the upper back. Drop the shoulder blades back and down, open out the fronts of the collarbones, and hold still. You've got 2 eggs underneath your heels, don't crack them. Keep holding, feel that burn build up. 3, 2, 1. We stay here, but we open and close the arms now. So squeeze the shoulder blades gently together. Breathe out to open. into close. If you need to drop the heels, do so, but stay in your squat. Otherwise, keep those heels lifted, keep those knees bent, and focus on opening the fronts of the shoulders and closing. Good. 4, 3, well done. Keep those hands in line with your shoulders as they come out to the side. Don't let them drop down. 2 more. Open and hold. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Close it down with the arms. Push up with the legs, drop the heels, and give everything a shake out. I did promise you legs. So there you go, you've got your legs working now. Okay, so we're going to focus a little bit onto our split squats now. So the kind of lunge position, so still working these thighs, they're going to get good workout. So step one leg in front of the other. Let's all do left leg. So nice long step forwards, keep your feet hip distance apart, but then transfer your weight into your front leg so your back heel lifts, okay? We're going to squeeze this back bottom as we bend the knee down, dropping the knee down. Now we don't let that front knee pass over the toes, so we're not coming forwards, we're travelling down, and then squeeze your bottom to come back up again, okay? So front view, bending and straightening. Use that tension in your bottom to push yourself up from the floor. Of course, you can use your pelvic floor as well, and your options really about how deep you go. Hands on your hips looks good. Helps just to make sure that pelvis is resting level and not hitching off to one side. So if you're doing these well, you should feel that back leg, and you should feel it already because we've already worked those thighs in that first little sequence. If you can't really feel your back leg, you're probably here. So sit back into your heel, not your heel, sorry, sit back into your back foot. Focus on lowering that back knee down. This knee will bend with you. Good. Let me see how you're getting on with those, and then we'll have the arms. You've got it. If I can see you, you're doing a great job. Okay. If you're happy that your pelvis rests level, we're going to take it into arm circles now. So simply hands above the head as we lower down, and then sweep the arms around down to your side as we push up. Breathing in, tighten the tummy as the arms lift so the rib cage doesn't flare. And focusing on that shoulder position as well. 6 more. Oh, I'm regretting saying 6. My legs are tired. 4, 5 more. Everything's burning now. 3 more. 2 more. We are going to hold the last one, even though I don't want to. But if I don't want to, you're going to do it with me. Okay, hold the last one. Hands down by your side this time, and take it into hundreds. Okay, if you want a little bit more, lift your front heel off the mat. Okay, so back heel lifted and front heel lifted, and pulse here. Tighten your tummy. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Come up to stand and give those legs a little bit of a shake out. Oh, yes, that's it, Liz. Losing layers, we're getting warm. Well done. Okay, unfortunately, we have to go again. Second side now. So we just started with the left leg. So take it into right foot forwards now, okay? Nice long stance. Lift that back heel off the mat. Now think about the top half of your body, a nice upright posture. Keep the posture upright as you bend down into your back knee. Shoulders stay stacked over the hips. You could rest a tray of drinks on top of your head because you aren't moving forward, you're just coming up and down. Focus on that pelvic position. Make sure it's not hitching out to one side. Squeezing your bottom as you come back up to stand. Whew. Keep it going. Looking good. Strong legs. Well done, everyone. Okay, adding those arms in. Just slow that lower down a little bit for me, Emma. Take it slowly down and push back up. Get your control right. Good. Arms float up and then come down. Shake those legs out if you need to. Draw them back in, or ignore that little voice that's coming from your legs into your head. Keep going. 4 more. 3 more, nice deep breaths. Breathe through the burn. 2 more. And we hold the next one, hands down by the side, palms facing backwards. Take it into hundreds. Lift that front heel if you wish, or keep it planted down so you're here or here. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Slowly come up to stand and give those legs a stretch. Okay, we're going to come down onto the mat in a moment. We're going to stretch those thighs out, so that'll feel quite nice. Let's just do a few roll downs from standing. So starting nice and tall. Should have the blood pumping now through your bodies. Hands relaxed by your side and just ready just to peel down through your spine. I know you're comfortable with these roll downs now, so take your time. Even though we've got a good amount of blood flow, don't force the first few. I'm just opening my window. Disappeared off behind the camera. There's me saying it's not warm today, and now I'm opening the window. Beautiful. Okay, just enjoy. So slowly down, slowly up, peeling through all the bones in your spine. Remember that we want to achieve segmental movement at every level, focusing on any stiff segments, seeing if we can optimize the movement throughout the spine. Looking really good. Enjoy a few more of those. I'm going to join you for one more. Lovely. And then once you're stacked back up to stand, bring yourself down on the mat any way you feel able to. We're going to bring it into a high kneeling position now. So just kneeling in the centre of your mat. I'll just give you a moment to adjust your cameras if you need to. Make sure you've got a little bit of room behind you. We're going to come into this high kneeling position. Not one that we've worked in recently. So make sure that your hips are stacked over your knees. So you want to kind of push your hips forward slightly rather than have your hips sitting backwards. And from here, we're going to do some pelvic tilts as well, to make sure you've got a gap between your knees too. So tuck your tailbone underneath. You should feel a little bit of lengthening at the front of your pelvis, and then arch your tailbone towards the back of the room. Just normal pelvic tilting, but it should feel slightly different to it does in standing, because we've kind of fixed the knees in a position. So the muscles that travel across both the hips and the knee joints now are fixed at the bottom, so they're going to get a little bit more of a stretch at the top. Good. A couple more. Chance just to catch your breath after those last two challenging leg sequences. Okay, and then we're going to work on trying just to neutral that pelvis, so nice level bucket of water. If anything, tuck it underneath slightly. Okay, keep your hands on your hips. This is one that you're probably going to need to work into. So the first time you do it might not be the biggest movement. I'm just going to turn side on. So you're going to keep your tailbone tucked underneath. You're going to draw your tummy in towards your spine. And then with the breath out, you're going to slowly start to lean backwards. And as you lean backwards, just try and keep tucking your tailbone underneath. Push your pelvis forwards until you feel a stretch along those thigh muscles, those ones that just worked quite hard. Pause at the bottom and then slowly bring yourself back up again. So once you've done it a couple of times, you might feel happy to challenge yourself to go a bit further back and try and keep your nose, breastbone, belly button kind of in that slight diagonal line. So it's like there's a little weight at the back of your head that's slowly drawing you backwards towards the floor. Remember, keeping your tummy drawn in, keeping your tail tucked underneath. And the main thing that I want you to focus on your mind-body connection is with this lengthening here through these thigh muscles. So what we're doing is we're doing an eccentric load of the muscles. So we're stretching and lengthening the muscles, but with the weight of our bodies. So it's a nice way of getting a bit more flexibility through the muscles, but it also works on strength at the same time. So our muscles have to work in a shortening phase, they have to work in a contracted phase, but they also have to control and lengthen as we move through different positions. Now, if you're happy with your hands, bring them down by your side. If your hips feel level. Good. Starting to go a bit deeper. Well done. Oh, well done, Emma. Look like Michael Jackson going into that lean. That was impressive. Super. Okay, so if you want to start to add a little bit of a hold at the end of that lean and maybe pulse through the arms, you can. So we could pulse here, 3, 2, 1, and come back up, or maybe pulse a little bit longer, 5 counts, or maybe even 10 counts. As you're pulsing again, just bring that focus in on drawing your tummy in towards your spine. That's it, Helen, good work. Yeah, lovely, Ivana, well done, Liz. Good, everyone, Paul and Mina, I'm sure you're doing a great job there at home as well. So I'm going to count you down. You can stick with me and do a hold, or you can come in and out. It depends how you feel. Okay, so with shoulders back, hips forwards, tummy tight. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Then come forwards, sit back down into your heels now. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, stretch your hands forwards, and we take it into our shell stretch. So just drop the head down towards the mat and breathe here. With every breath out, try and sink your heels a little bit deeper. Try and get your head a little bit closer towards the mat, if it's not already there. And then lifting your head, slowly walking your hands back towards you. Come back to kneel. We're going to do some side hip work. We're not going to be here for too long because we need to finish off with abs. We're going to take it down into our side prop. So this is the one where you can make things in life a little bit easier for you by bringing the floor to you. Maybe placing a pillow on the floor or leaning onto your sofa if you're in your living room. So we'll have right hand on the mat, left leg extended out. Okay, and you're aiming to keep the hip and the knee aligned on the bent leg side. So try not to travel too far towards your hand. Push away from your hand so you're kind of tucking that hip underneath. Let's all just start with a nice long stretch through the side of the body. So top hand comes over. And remember, we're working on that shoulder position still. So everything we did in standing still applies to the shoulders. If anything, even more, especially for this bottom arm as it takes weight. So it's a bit of a strengthening one for the shoulders. So try and focus on that shoulder set position that we know so well now. Holding here, keep holding and breathing. And then you're going to bring your top hand back over and place it on your hip. Now try and keep your hip from hitching up towards your pelvis, up to your ribs now. So if anything, gently press it down and then see if you can float your bottom foot off the mat and lower. Doesn't need to come high, lift and lower. If your leg feels really difficult to lift, bend your knee. And then focus on lifting the outside of the leg. So we're just shortening the lever just to make it a little bit easier for the side of the hip. Otherwise, we're coming with a long leg. Or we're aiming maybe to bring it into full range so that foot brings all the way up to hip height. So there's kind of 3 variations there. Bent leg, little lift, or a slightly higher lift. That's beautiful. Really tough one for outer hips this, but a good one to work on, building up that strength. And try and keep the top half of your body as still as you can. working just in the outer hip, so you're not kind of using momentum, pushing your shoulders up towards your hands to lift your leg. Keep it going. 6 more like this. Whichever option. 5, 4, 3, 2. Now lift and hold, or lift and circle. So if you've got a straight leg, imagine your leg is a pencil and just draw a circle on the wall at the bottom of your room, okay? Keep your hip level if you can, keep circling or holding, change direction if you're going with the circles, keep going. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely, lower down, bring that leg back in, and we'll go once more back into our shell stretch, just to give that hip a bit of a stretch and those wrists a little bit of a rest. So really challenging position for the hip, that, because we're already kind of out in that sideways motion, and then we're adding a little bit more of a load. So not too much time to rest. Come back into your into your high kneeling position, and we're going to take that over to the opposite side now. So left hand on the mat, right leg extended out. Second time lucky, okay? And then we take it into that lovely long stretch. So remember, shoulders away from the ears. You can come onto your fist if you need to take any load out of the wrist. Also make sure a little bit higher. Try and be as flat as you can. So just have a little glance down at your body. Are you kind of rotated forwards, or is your heart open towards the front of your room? Lovely. 3, 2, and 1. Take that top hand over onto your hip, and then when you're ready, lift and lower. All those same 3 options apply, yeah? So it can be lifting with a bent knee. It can be lifting your toe just enough off the mat to get a 5-pound note underneath. Or it can be lifting the foot roughly up towards hip height. Good. Keep pressing through the hand on the mat. So we're still working that shoulder strength, even though this top hip is probably feeling like it's doing most of the work. Good. Let me see how you're doing with those before we add our hold and our circle. Keep that nice neckline if you can. So head's kind of continuing that line of your spine. Nose, breastbone, belly button all in line. Beautiful. 3 more. Breathe out as that leg lifts. 2 more. And then we lift and hold, or we lift and circle, okay? Try and keep that cup of tea resting on that top hip, so those circles can be small. Take a rest, join back in, change direction with your circles, or keep holding. 10, 9, remember you can hold with a bent leg. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely, touchdown. And once more, come back into that lovely shell stretch. Give those wrists a little bit of a rest. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. We're going to come onto our backs now and just finish with an abdominal sequence. So if we've got time, we're going to do it twice. So you can either repeat the first level twice, or we can all do the first level and then we come back in and bring it into a second level. We're going to see those leg circles come back again in a moment. But for now, just set yourself up in your rest position, knees bent, feet hip distance apart. Let's just do a few pelvic tilts just to find that neutral spine. So just press the small of your back into the mat, ease away. Press down again, ease away. And then find that lovely sweet spot in the middle. So the goal with this next sequence is to make sure that your spine position doesn't change. So there's a little grape in the small of your back. Don't lift off your grape, but also don't squash it down too much either. Take your right leg into tabletop. So this is level 1, okay? We're all going to do level 1, and then we've got the option to repeat the sequence and make it a bit more challenging. So we begin with our single leg stretch. So the right leg floats into the center of the room and then folds back to tabletop. As we extend the leg, we squeeze the thigh. Back to those thighs again. We worked them hard tonight, haven't we? You'll know about that when you stand up from your chair tomorrow. We'll try and get up and down the stairs. Good. So extending with the breath out, and that breath out needs to focus your attention towards your pelvis. So make sure your back doesn't arch as you extend your leg away. Fairly straightforward, single leg stretch. Lovely. If you want to take your foot a little bit lower, you can, just to work that back a little bit more. Beautiful. Okay, 3 more leg stretches. 2 more. And then hold your leg stretch. So your leg stretch can be lifted with the foot high or a little bit lower to load the abs up. Now we hold the leg stretch, take the attention to the arms. We add our overhead reach now. So hands come up over the top of the mat without shrugging the shoulders up, and then back down again. Breathe out as we reach over. Now the focus is on the rib cage. So making sure the rib cage doesn't lift as the hands come over to the top. Legs going to start to feel heavy now. Squeeze the thigh, keep the leg strong. Don't let your back arch with the weight of your leg. 3 more. 2 more. Okay, then we hold the next one. So hands above the head, bring your focus back to your leg. Your leg is now a pencil and it's drawing a circle on the wall in front of you. And you've got a cup of tea resting on that left leg. So try not to let your left leg swing from side to side as you circle your leg, your right leg. Last little bit now. Wonderful. 3 more circles, then we'll change direction. Okay, change direction with the circles if you haven't already. 3, 2, and 1. If you bring the right knee in towards you and hug that knee. So quads control, strength with lower tummy focus, okay? Let's bring that over to the left side now before we repeat final time. So left leg in tabletop. We know what we're doing, okay? So lengthen the foot into the centre of the room, squeeze the thigh, going lower if you wish, fold back in. Same again, we've got 8 of these. 8. Make sure that tabletop comes just to the knee above the hip and tabletop doesn't fold too far in. Keep the heel lifted in tabletop as well, so the end point and the start point always look the same every time you go back to them. 5 more. 4 more. Not long left now. And we've got to fit this in again. 3 more. 2 more. Holding your next leg straight out. We've got 8 overhead reaches. Hands over to the top. Tighten the tummy as it goes. Keep your leg out straight. And those arms just come up and over. 7. Don't let the rib cage flare. Hands don't have to come all the way to the top, providing the rib cage is your main focus. So your ribs might flare up and your hands might go further, but the idea is to keep that rib cage gently connected down towards the waist. You've got about 4 more. 3. 2, and then hold the hands overhead. Bring your focus back to your leg. Draw your circles. Focus a little bit as well now on that right knee. So make sure your knee isn't moving from side to side. Anchor your hip down with your right bottom cheek. Change direction with your circles. 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Hook your knee in towards you. Okay, first round done. Second round is going to be a little bit shorter, but with the option to do the same sequence, but with the legs in double tabletop. So you're still only moving one leg, but you've just got the opposite foot lifted off the mat. So you can do the same again, or come into double tabletop. Focus back to right leg now. We begin with one leg stretch. So right leg lengthens in and out of the room, with the left leg either on the mat, lifted or lowered. We've got 6 repetitions of each movement. So double tabletop or single tabletop. 3, 2, well done, everyone's got a good option, and 1. Extend and hold the leg out, and then come to the arms, so overhead reach 6 times. 6, 5, 4, bring that left foot down out of tabletop if you need to. 3, last push now, abs are going to feel it a little bit more second time round. 2, reach the hands and hold them over the head, right leg back to the focus as we draw circles with our right leg, and either keep our left foot on the floor nice and steady or in tabletop nice and steady. 3 circles one direction, change direction. 3, 2, and 1. Fold the right leg into tabletop now, or bring the right foot down onto the mat. Focus now on the left leg, so hands back down by your side. 6 stretches out with that left leg, with or without the right leg in tabletop, so here or here. 5, 4, well done. 3, if you're in double tabletop, just watch that second leg. 2, and lengthen and hold, focus to the arms. 6, we're getting there now. 5, 4, squeeze the thigh, straighten the leg. 3, 2, last push, hands overhead, hold them there, leg out straight, and circle that left leg. 3 circles one way. 3, 2, and 1. Change direction. 3, 2, and 1. Brilliant. Bring your knees in. 1 knee, 2 knees, hands over the top, and hug your knees. Gently rock from side to side. So hope you enjoyed that sequence with 2 levels to work through. It was only 3 moves, but you can see how when we kind of slow things down and layer them up, we can work really hard. So that might be something that you can try again in a couple of days. If you're coming to the class, then you will try it again in a couple of days. But, you know, trying to focus and fit a little bit more Pilates in at the end of your week, we're going to just see ourselves getting stronger and stronger. So you can stay here if you need to stretch out a little bit more, but when you're ready, just bring yourself onto your side and slowly push up to sit. Sorry that I've kept you 4 minutes longer. Hope it was worth it.